everyone, Karen here, and today I have layout number 14 in the nesting die series I've been working on. As a quick review, it's the same 12-piece nesting die from Crafter's Companion. It starts off at a 4x6 and goes down to this teeny tiny one. And when I'm referring to a number, number 1 is the smallest one and number 12 is the largest one. Now today for decorating the card, I'm going to use this embossing folder that I've had for a while and the little cupcake here from the coffee and tea set. Now, but what we're going to do here is we're going to use the die cuts as stencils. Now this here, you can see it kind of sort of. Yep, okay, that's good. I'm going to hold it right here so you can see it. I die cut number 10. So 12, 11, 10, the third one in, I cut out of a piece of acetate. Now this is actually a 5 mil. It is actually a laminating folder. And go look at my other videos where I do different things with the laminating folders, because you'd be surprised at what you can do and what you can run through your laminator machine. But what I did is I cut this 10 out, like I just said, and that leaves us with a stencil that we can now use on our card. So we're going to use the stencil for here, and then we're going to use another piece of stencil for a mask. So let's get started. So let's move this out of the way. Now, let me grab a piece of scrap paper. Now, I have my 5x7 card base. I have a 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. I have a 4 1/8 by 6 1/8 because I just want a tiny little border around this white paper. And this white paper is 4x6. Now, the white paper is what we're going to stencil on. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in the bottom part of my stamping platform because I have a sticky mat on here, and I'm going to put the paper on here so it stays nice and still. I'm then going to center this. Let's find the center here. That looks good, and I'm going to press down, and this also will stick to my sticky mat, and now everything's going to stay put as I go through this. So since I'm using this kind of peachy color and this yellowy color, I decided to ink with parakeet. I thought that would make a nice little combination. So I'm going to use a round sponge just so I get a nice edge here and the little fibers from the brushes that I normally use don't get underneath my stencil, because sometimes that happens. Now we can just go all the way around. Just keep going. Go around, and it's just nice using the sticky mat because everything stays put. And we're going to blend and blend some little more. And I don't want this to look solid. I never make anything look solid. I always like things to be a little darker on one end, lighter on other sides. There we go. See, now I'm getting a nice clean edge. Now, you'll notice that this stencil was a lot bigger than what I needed. So when you cut your own stencils, you can make things as wide as you want them to be to keep your card nice and clean. So look at that. We'll put this over to the side. Now we have this all stenciled. Alright, we'll put this to the side for a second because we are going to stencil a second piece. So now on here, we can bring in our cards here. So this is going to get glued down to here and have a tiny little mat around it. Then this is going to go on here. Let's go ahead and get this all glued down. Once again, this was a 4x6. And I am putting it on a 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. So it's just going to have a teeny tiny little border all the way around. Let me get that all lined up. Just take your time when you have a little border like this, because being just a little bit off is going to show, because it's just a tiny little border. There we go. scooch that over just a tad. There we go. Now we just have a little border around here. So this will get glued down to here, I think. I may put that on foam, so let me hold off for a second gluing that down. So let's bring in these little pieces that we have here. So here I have a number 7, so that's 7 from the inside. I have a 6, which is the next one down, and I have a 5, which is one down from that. So I have 7, 6, 5. So I'm going to have these all stacked together, but what I want to do here is where we used the hole to color this in, I am going to use this as a mask. So I'm going to put some tape on the back of this. So I just have some low-tack tape, and I am going to tape down the back of this, and I am going to put this in the middle. Let's get that all lined up. And I think this time I will just kind of hold it. And I'm just going to take the blue, the same parakeet blue, and I am going to go all the way around. I think I can use a little bit more ink. Not much though. We're okay. All right, I think I'm good. Put the ink to the side, and let's pull this off and see what we have. So when we pull this off, now we've made a nice little frame around the outside. So you can use it as a stencil or as a mask. And it will give you a nice effect on your cards. Alright, so now let's see how we want to put all this together. So this is going to go on here. And this is going to go on here. And the cupcake, let's put the cupcake together so I can decide what exactly I want to put up and down. So now, let's see if this cupcake needs a little more color. I think that cupcake is getting a little lost, so let's, let me grab black, or another color, let's see. Alright, so I grabbed Honey Pot. This might be too dark, but let's see. Let's bring the scrap back in. And let's just make this yellow frosting. You know what, for giggles, I'm going to ink the back. I'm going to see if that shows up better. You know what, I almost like the back better. Alright, so let's take a look at this. So this is supposed to be the front. And it has a deboss on it. And that looks okay. But the back looks good too, with the emboss on it. I'm thinking I'm going to use the back side of this. Yeah, I think I kind of like the back better. Let's see if it looks funny on the cupcake. I don't think it's going to matter. Nope, I like that a lot better. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Alright, so let's use this. Now I have this white paper for the cupcake wrapper. But I think that's still getting a little lost. So let me put a little, let's see, what color? Maybe just a little gray. Just something to take the white off of it. Around the edge. And then I think I'll put it up on foam to give it a little bit more separation, and that should do it. Yeah, I think just darkening the edges here will give it enough. I think will do it. Let me just put a little more in here. Just want to give that an edge. Okay, I think that will be good. All right, I have some foam. Now let's get this all stacked. All right, first let's glue the cupcake together. So I'm going to use the back side that has the embossing on it instead of using the debossed front. And we'll put that on here. Let's see, that should be about here. As you want to cover the top of that cupcake wrapper. There we go, like that. All right, now we don't want to make this too tall. So I'm thinking this will get glued together. And this is the number 6 die. Is getting glued to the number 7. And we stenciled it with number 5. I mean, not stenciled, we masked it with number 5. Now I'm going to put some 1/16 foam on the back of here. All right, and this will sit in the middle of the number 10 that we stenciled on here. That will just sit like that. And our cupcake will go on the front. This will get glued in the middle. And I do need to go grab a happy birthday while this dries. Now I have this set that I've had for a very long time. It came in one of the subscription boxes, and it says Cake Time over here. So I think I'm going to use Cake Time instead of a happy birthday. So let's see, we can put cake and time, and I think the cupcake in the middle. I think something like that. But these will definitely go up on foam. So let's get all this attached, and then I can just make final decisions here. So let's glue this down. All right, so this will go in the center. Then I can decide how much I want that Cake Time to hang off here. So let's get the cupcake on a little piece of foam. All right, so that will go here in the middle. Now we have Cake Time. So that can either go on the top. I'm kind of leaning toward this, but that definitely needs to be raised up a little bit. So let's see. Do I want it on thicker foam? Let's see, I can always put another layer if I think it's not thick enough. Nope, that's good. So I'm going to use the 1/16 foam, just like I did on all these pieces, so they all up around the same level. So if it's 2/16, that's an 1/8. So it's still only as thick as a shaker card. It's not any thicker. I'll put the cake over here and the time down here. And I know I've been using a lot of things from my stash because I made a promise to myself at the beginning of the year that I was going to use up my stash this year. And so that is what I'm trying to do. And so far, I've been pretty successful. I am down about 6 inches of paper that I have behind me here. So I'm pretty proud of that I've been using all my paper. and I'm down about 6 inches. So let's see. So there is red, there's pink. Let's see, do I want to use the blue? And just put a couple little gems on here? Or do I need a contrast color? These don't want to flip over. I think I need a contrast color. All right, let me see what other colors I have here. All right, this one has red in it. Let's see. Oh, I think I like that better. Let's see, do I have a yellow? Oh, I think I do. I like one of each here. All right, so we'll put 3 here, and we'll put 3 over here. And we'll put the blue one in the corner so it's further away from the blue. Like that. All right, let me get these glued down. All right, there's 1, 2, and 3. And we'll put 3 up here. Now, all right, so there's the front. So let's talk about the inside. All right, so I have taken the biggest die, number 12, that's the 4x6, and cut it out of a piece of white. Now, this is the stencil that we used, and this is the waste from the stencil. This can be a mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the biggest die, that's the 4x6, that's the number 12, and I am going to tape this down. I'm going to put a piece of low-tack tape there, get this all centered, and I am going to tape this down. That's it. Yep, you can see that. Yep, just like that. So now I'm going to use this as a mask. So I'm going to bring the parakeet back in. I am just going to ink all the way around. Just keep going and going and going and going. All right, that looks good. Let's peel this off. So now I have this nice little frame. So now I have a little message that says, "Have the happiest of birthdays," and I'm going to stamp this in the middle. This down on my sticky mat. I will put this in the middle. Pick that up. Let me grab my quick dry ink. All right, here's black quick dry ink. That looks pretty good. So there we go. Now we'll just glue this to the inside and our card will be done. So this is good if you really are concerned about how thick your cards are getting. You can use a mask like this where it now looks like there's a layer in there, but there's not. It's still completely flat. So let's talk about this for a second. So we used the stencil we cut out. Let me grab it. Here's our pieces. So to make the bigger blue, we used the stencil that we cut out of number 10. Then for the smaller here, we used number 5 as a mask to get it on the edge. And then we used a mask on the inside from the piece that we cut out for the front. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you did, give me a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, stay crafty.